Hi guys, it's me, Carrie Silver Lining Mena, and today on Silver Linings, I actually don't have anything really to talk about. Well, actually, I have quite a few things to talk about, but I don't have like a theme, I guess. And I asked a few mediums to help me, and because I got no shows, I got nothing in the, in the closet that I can pull out and use for my next episode. So I think one of the reasons that nobody was available was to kind of prompt me to do this solo one. I'm not all the way comfortable doing the solos sometimes because I still have that problem with seeming egotistical about talking about my damn self. But I do know that this is a show about me. So let me just go ahead and, you know what? I feel like my earring keeps rubbing on this wire. And if it is, it might fuck with my sound. So I'm going to sacrifice dazzle for the sake of sound. Speaking of sound, that's one of the things I want to address. A few weeks ago, a couple people pointed out in their YouTube comments that you can't hear me so well. And I got all pissy about it. And I'm like, well, maybe you can just find some other speakers. That was one of my solutions. But also, I know that I have sound issues. This is my microphone. It's just this little nothing. I got this from the store. It's not a big deal. Of course I got it from the store, but it's just not a big deal kind of thing. And I just want to remind you guys that it is in the works. I am manifesting a new microphone. And a few months ago, it was future me, I believe, told me I got frustrated with my hair rubbing on it and stuff. That's why I pulled out my earring, because maybe my earring does a little bit too, and I'm always trying to fluff my hair out of the way. And so the frustration with the sound, it leads me to buy a microphone. And I tried to buy it before, because once I heard that message, I was like, oh, I'll start looking now, and one never came my way. However, I went shopping with my husband for my son's birthday present, and I saw a pink microphone. I'm supposed to name this pink microphone Rosalina, which of course I will now, because now that's already been created. So, that's such a weird name. I would never choose the name Rosalina. I don't even know why I would have come up with that if not for the way in which it happened, which was future me telling me. That's so weird. Okay, so that's in the works. So number one, my sound is on its way to improving itself. And number two, pardon my bad behavior when I got up on my horse and was snotty to those that didn't complain to me, but informed me that they would prefer to hear me a little more clearly. So instead of being a bitch, I'm going to thank you guys for pointing that out. I do appreciate that help. So that's a little bit of business out of the way. You know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to do my clapper board, because I'm going to try to get through this thing without having to go back and do my little intro where I get to put in all the stuff I forgot. So this is my way of manifesting no mistakes. Let's see if I can do it. So one of the things I'm going to talk about is my date with Himiko. So let me start on that one. Wait. Action! I actually don't know if I want to start with that. Nope. I'm going to leave that for next, or somewhere in this story, because that was a really sexy story. I'm going to dangle it in front of you, and I want you guys to find out what I learned about that and how sexy it was in the process. But before I get to that, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to host my very own event. I'm calling it Silver Linings Live, just because it has like a nice flow to it. And my intention for this event is, because, I've had my shiny events, and that featured, me and Allison channeling and energy healing, meditating, and, doing, teaching with spiritual tools, things like that. And that was great. I loved it. And with Stardust, our theme is, it's both spiritual and connecting with the ETs. So that has a theme, and I love that too. So what kind of theme am I going to have here? Well, I'll tell you. What I really want to do is I'm going to start at my home first, just because I'm comfortable with it. I'm familiar, and the venue was open indefinitely. So I'm going to have it in my home. And the premise of this one is to not only bring people together with like minds, but I want to offer opportunities for other, what should I call it? I don't have a word right now, but mediums or healers or whatever, spiritual people. I would like to come or offer a place for them to get exposure and share about themselves and kind of grow their confidence, because who knows, maybe one day they'll be hosting their own events one day, but you got to start somewhere. And just like I had to start somewhere, my very first gig was reading tarot cards at a local metaphysical shop. And I got to tell you, I don't know how to read tarot cards. I basically pulled cards out of a deck and read from the book. But that got me started on my journey, and I would love to help you get started on your journey. Fortunately for me, the place in which I live, I am surrounded by very talented people. So let me tell you who's on my guest list already. And it should not surprise you one bit that my very good friend Sarah Kujawa from Doing Grief Differently is going to come and be a part of it. She's a bit of my unofficial partner in crime and in such things. And she lives very close by, and we bounce off of each other all the time. And so she hasn't decided what she wants to do yet, but she will probably maybe do some channeling of her son, Adam, who is in spirit. She might do some Reiki demonstrations. She has some really fun games, some energy games. And she might even channel Adam. At the last event I had, where were we? That was at Stardust. It was the Stardust event out in the desert. She went ahead and she volunteered this. I didn't ask her to do it. It wasn't part of the itinerary, so I'm very grateful, and people really loved it. But she told about past lives. Allison would do that at Shiny, and I absolutely loved learning about the connections I had with the other people in the event from a different when. So she might do that. She's up for anything, so we can kind of put a vote to it. I bet we can get her to do whatever we want. Not only that, I got Sarah also, she's been wanting for a long, long time to have her own, not necessarily event, but she wants to teach and do Reiki certification. She actually teaches Reiki at our local junior college. Is that what it's called? Community college, whatever. So they have a Reiki course there, and she's been teaching it for quite a few years now. So she knows her stuff, and she can, I don't know what the prerequisites are to make one person allowed to sign off for another person, but whatever it is, she's got it. So that is not necessarily part of the Silver Linings event. We just decided to coordinate our two endeavors in the same weekend so that, for those from out of town, you only have to do one plane ticket. So you can do both events separately or both together, choose one, choose another, whatever. But no matter which one you choose to do, if you only choose to do one, there will be opportunities for us all to congregate after the day's events. So even if you didn't technically go to either of them, if you're here in the evenings, we'll let you come be a party crasher. But I recommend that you go ahead and join in on this, this event of a lifetime. You only get to host your first event once. So some of the other talents that I have coming my way is, my friend Carrie from Alice Eats the Apple, she's agreed to come and be a part of it. And I don't even know what she's going to do yet, but I have some ideas I want to run by her, and I think she will love it. Another person I have coming my way is Denise Ramon, who you've seen on the Channeling Eric videos. I love her. She doesn't live too far away. I have all these local people. Isn't that awesome? And so she's going to come and do some channeling for us. And I also have my Sissy Pants. My Sissy has agreed to come out, and she's like, I would just love to come spend some time with you. And in the process, have some other people, because she's been to enough events. She knows how much fun it is, and that these are like family reunions. Above all else, it's about connecting with your tribe, with like minds. Now, I've listed a pretty stellar lineup already. You got me, hello, ding ding, Sarah, Carrie, Denise, and Heather. But that's not all. I got some more, but I haven't had full-blown commitments yet. But I got some more people waiting to join up on this thing. So I don't think you have ever been to an event with this, or even heard of an event that's local on, sort of the small scale, unless you go to like one of those huge mega cruise kind of things where there's like all the big guys. I have several talents coming to my event, and that usually doesn't happen. So this is a very rare occasion. So it's my plan to tour different cities and do the same thing and pull in locals to come and participate. So stay tuned for more details. And because I'm kind of a simple girl when it comes to this stuff, I don't have big techie skills. And when Heather does Stardust events, she builds a full-blown website for it in like 30 minutes. That would take me 30 weeks. So I'm just going to make it as simple as possible and just create like a regular Facebook event, and there's going to be nothing official about it. I'll put links in to pay and links in for information. You can message me, and I'm just gonna wing it a little bit on that and keep it simple for myself. All the time I could be spending on trying to create a website, I could be putting towards more whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, more productive endeavors, because that is not my strong suit. So more information on that coming up soon. So then the next person, this is going to be the video itself, but I went ahead and threw in that other stuff. My apology for being a bitch about my microphone, and my announcement about my own event coming up. And if you have questions for Sarah, you can message her too about her certification. We're not sure if it's just going to be Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, or just Reiki 1 or what. That's going to depend on participation, who signs up for it. So that's kind of up in the air at this point, but we will definitely have a plan laid out. Oh, and just so you know, for your calendars, you can mark off the second weekend of November. So that's not too close to Thanksgiving. And when I travel, I always have to consider like the busy flying times for me personally, because I'm on the Marry Me and Fly for Free plan, but I fly standby. My husband works for the airline, so if there is an extra seat open, I can have that one for free. But I spend hours in the airport waiting for that empty seat. So when it comes to travel dates, I take that into consideration. So a few weeks or 2 weeks or whatever it is before Thanksgiving is probably a good time to fly, because people are saving up their money and their vacation time for the Thanksgiving week. And then again for the Christmas week. So another good pointer is to travel like the week after Thanksgiving, just so you know, rates might drop. So that's one of the reasons I chose this date. And the date is actually going to be November 9th and 10th. It's a Saturday and Sunday, but we're starting the festivities on the 8th. So if you do want to come, you got to ask your bosses off for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. You may as well take Monday and make a trip out of it. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I have this big ol' affinity for the number 17, and I like to honor that date by hosting meditations sometimes. And I was on vacation at my dad's. I just didn't have the time or the drive to make it a big event. So at the last minute, 2 days before, I rustled up something real quick, because this August 17th that just passed was like a very significant day for me. It was the 5th year anniversary from having connected with my first twin. And so I always, in my mind, it was a big deal to me. So I wanted to honor that by allowing or helping to facilitate other energetic connections through a meditation. So what coincidentally happened that day was that I did a Stardust video with Heather, and she brought in another version of herself, which is a shaman queen from ancient Japan, from around the year 200 or something, 200 to 400, I'm not sure, but a long, long, long time ago. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you do. It was so interesting. So that's on the Stardust channel, which underneath, after all my dialogue, I'm sure I have a link that you can click to go to the Stardust channel. And Heather is very, her methods of staying humble is to really be like, I'm not all that, I'm not all that. And so she was very uncomfortable about owning this other incarnation of hers, because apparently, even though I'd never heard of her, this woman, Himiko, I hope I say that right, she was a very well-known and, I'm going to say prestigious, I don't know if that's the right word, but well-loved queen of her time. And she was significant in uniting and creating the territory that is now Japan. And there's some mystery surrounding her. And she got a little opportunity to clear that up. I mean, still the people of Japan still want to know these things about her. I just thought she was like, just kind of an anonymous queen way back when who knew, whatever. But that's not true. People really have still an active interest in her. And she gave all kinds of messages in that thing. But I feel like she was there more for me than for Heather, because I got such such a boost from that. And I don't know if that was the plan all along or if it was just a happy accident afterwards, but she helped really give me confidence in owning who I am. And by that, I mean a couple things. One of the biggest things she did, and I'm not even sure I necessarily needed it, but because I appreciate it so much, I think maybe I did. And she talked about her own sexuality. And she was very open about how she was, appreciative of both genders. And and one of the reasons she told me this was because I had just written, if you are not part of my group or the Stardust group, then you won't know about this. But if you are, you may have seen that really scandalous story time I wrote about my reading with Heather when she trans-channeled both my higher self fairy girl and Avery. And I just, I shared it all. I talked about all the dirty, nasty, sexist stuff. And I really put myself out there because I have decided that I am like the sex representative for the women and men actually in our group. And when I say our group, my definition of our group are all those who contracted under what I like to call like Minerva's umbrella. And at first I used to call it like the Channeling Eric umbrella, but it goes bigger than that because Stardust is not channeling Eric. Shiny was not channeling Eric. Silver Linings is not channeling Eric. We both kind of stemmed and grew from that, but ultimately I don't want to call it the Channeling Eric umbrella because I feel that's limiting. But all of these endeavors have been, with people from that same oversoul, Minerva. So under the Minerva umbrella is what I mean by my group, my people. Mm-hmm. So for this particular group, I believe that I am to be the sex representative. That's just one of my jobs. And I'm really ready and excited to embrace that. And I think that one of the reasons that I can get away with that is because I think everybody knows, if you've been following along, you know that I'm such a virgin. I haven't had sex in so long. And when I did, it was more like just to procreate. And my husband had this graveyard shift and you have to time everything just so. And so it'd just be like, okay, let's do it real quick. And then, I have to put my ass up in the air so the stuff could drip in and find its egg. Whatever. There was no romance. There was no passion. It was nothing but a chore. So the last time I've had consistent sex, my oldest are 11 and a half. So it's been like 12 years ago that I've had consistent sex. And it really wasn't that great. So for all of these, and I'm not, knocking him, it was just because it was a chore. It was, a means to an end, which was to start a family. So when all of this stuff comes out of my mouth, I think that's kind of funny. It's almost ironic that, no, I'm not getting it. No, I'm not getting any, not yet. So when I talk like this, I don't really feel hoary and sluttish. Not that I should anyway. But that's just the way the world is. The world is very judgmental. So I just feel like, if you don't know the whole story, you might judge me. But if you know the whole story, then I'm not hoary or slutty because I'm a virgin practically. So I think that's kind of funny. So she helped me feel more comfortable about embracing that. And she talked about the benefits of that, about how that can help the Minerva umbrella. And it kind of empowers people. It helps take the shame out of it. And not that I'm tooting my own horn right here, but I know that I am a representative. I know that people learn from me. So if they can learn to not have shame in sex, then I'm doing my job. One of them. So I want to thank her for that, for planting that in my head, or, just making me feel that much more confident about that particular part of my journey. And the other part that she helped me with is just helping me feel more comfortable and confident in my own skin. This is going to make me cry because it was so sweet. It really changed my perception of myself. And she said, it's just flirting with me. She was like, you would have been very welcome in my court. And I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if she said court. But she says, you are a rare beauty. She says, many of the women in my time were very skinny, so I would very much have enjoyed your company. And I had to take a moment to think about that, what she said. And when it sunk in, I burst into tears just like I am now. And I said, you could have said that you appreciated a fat chick, but you didn't do that. And I believe you meant it when you said that you appreciate my rare beauty. And I'm curvy. And it made me think about Avery too. You know, all the space people are, you know, one size fits all, very tall, very thin. And I'm not. I'm short and round. And he tells me all the time, every opportunity he gets, how beautiful I am. So I'm really learning that the standard of beauty I hold is not the rule, and that I can be beautiful the way I am. And that's what I'm really working on right now, is a few things that all, you know, I'm learning self-worth through my looks. That's one of the ways. Hang on, let me breathe for a sec. And God, I hope I can make this story not too tangly. And one of the things she said to me was that I was asking her about like how people perceived her homosexuality in that day. And basically she was like, I was a queen. I was a goddess. They viewed me as a goddess. And one did not speak about a goddess in any kind of negative way. So they were all very accepting. And it was, in fact, quite an honor to lie with me. And I thought about that too. I thought about that a lot. And on one note, I still can feel a little bit less than. But on another note, I kind of feel like even though nobody else can recognize it, I don't know if that's true, but this is my self-talk. Even if nobody else recognizes it, I know who I am, and I know the journey I've taken, and I know the heart that I have. And I too believe it is an honor to lie with me. So, based on the things she said to me, I decided that we do not have shamanistic queens that have a reputation or they are believed to be goddesses. You know, we're living, 2019, and that we just don't have those like we did. But in my little world, in my Minerva umbrella, I guess I can be considered similar. And she never claimed to be a goddess. She just claimed that others revered her in that way. And so I've decided to consider myself a modern day goddess. And I don't know exactly the context I mean that in all the way across the board, but for now I mean a sex goddess. And whoever gets a chance to lie with me is very honored. And I do kind of mean that because I worked hard to be worthy of love and affection. So I'm top notch. So appreciate that, boys. And you know how cool, you want to know what's cool is that all of my lovers will all be part of Minerva's umbrella. And each lover I collect, it was like my job, my human job. I'm a sex superhero because it is up to me to bring these people back to Minerva. I'm collecting other pieces of us and putting us back together. I'm doing it through sex. How cool is that? A lifetime of celibacy, and now I get to make up for lost time in such a beautiful way. I'm going to be connected to these people. I keep saying people rather than men, and I want to touch on that for a minute too. Because in that long ass sexy story time I wrote, I mentioned that Avery was talking. I was talking to him and asking him if he swung both ways, if he likes boys too. And he was so funny. I was gonna go ahead and tell you. He's like, yeah, but they gotta be really, really like top notch. Otherwise, I'm not going for it. He goes like, forget humans. Their dicks are too small. I laughed so hard. But I identified with him because when I think about women and having, sexual relations with a girl, my brain wants perfection. I want those perfect porn star bitches that are just gorgeous. Perfect tits, perfect ass, perfect vagina, perfect everything. And I was kind of snobby about that in my story time. And I realized I don't want to be ugly. I don't want to have, ugly words because that's not, I don't know. I just don't like to be an ugly person. I felt that was so judgmental. And when you're judgmental as a person on an ascending path, whatever, you got to figure out why you're judgmental so that you can get to that source and undo it, because we're supposed to love everybody, accept everybody, whatever. Because when you get to that place, that's true self-love. So I decided that the reason that I was so judgmental about other women being perfect was because I was still judging myself and my imperfections. So that was number one. And number two, I realized that it just does not matter what people look like, because for me, it's energy I'm attracted to. I have never laid these eyes on Avery, and I love him so much, and he feels so sexy to me, but I have no idea what he looks like. I got drawings from people. I don't know. So number one, it's energy I'm attracted to. And number two, what a hater I was to say, oh, you got to be perfect for, to turn me on. And I'm going to tell you another way in which that attitude changed, and that's where this meditation comes in. So we did this video on the 17th, and I said, oh, Heather, you got to publish it today, because Himiko said that she would love to participate in the meditation with me. And my newest theme, I really like this theme, is to connect energetically with anybody. And it can be a sexy thing, it can be a romantic thing, or it could just be somebody that's in spirit that you miss. You can, like for example, my friend Sarah, she doesn't need me because she's mastered this stuff and she can do it whenever she wants. But say she did want to just kick back and let somebody else do the work while she just, absorbs it. She can connect with her son Adam and just feel his love through her heart chakra. So it's for anybody. So when I was doing my meditation, usually what I do is I'm sitting up and I do a lot of like movements with my hands. I like to feel that energy ball in my hands, and I will like visualize in my brain, here's the red, orange, yellow, and I go along your chakra lines. But because Himiko, I keep looking down because I'm like embarrassed to say her name wrong. I got to get over that. When she offered to do this meditation with me, I wanted to try something different. And I know that there are no rules in energy. I can stand up, sit down, or lie down. It's all the same. It's whatever your intentions are. So I decided, instead of being like not only an active participant, I was going to be a passive participant as well. So I went outside, and I have a new swing, like a bench swing that I got for Mother's Day. And I was lying down on it and kind of rocking. And I tried to envision Himiko, because I wanted to connect with her. I know that, she likes girls and that she considers me a rare beauty. So I was going to try to see what happened with that. And, sometimes you set an intention, or you like start a vision and then it takes off on its own. And that's what happened. And I'm going to tell you how beautiful this was. Sometimes I like to connect with Heine. And that's Heather's higher self. But to me, Heine does not look like anything. It's just a ball of energy, It's like all the other higher selves are to me. That's what they are. They don't have a human form. So the next best thing I can do if I want to like fantasize is to think about Heather. But I can't. That's just wrong to me. I love her, and there's this strange sexual undercurrent between us. But she's like my, besides being like a best friend, she's like a sister. She's like a little sister, and it just doesn't feel right. I tried to pursue that a couple times, like in my mind. And even she did too. We thought maybe we were meant to be lovers, but it just never went beyond flirting. But there really is a deep love between us. And as a human being, sometimes you identify that as a sexual attraction. But for she and I, it's like all encompassing, so it includes that. So as a human being, for it to come out in a sexual feeling is reasonable to me, but we're just not going to act on it. It's not our path. Having said that, that attraction and love are still there. So when I was imagining Himiko, she told me, she said, I will be Heather. I will have Heather's body. And right before my eyes, her face changed, and it became Japanese Heather. Isn't that funny? I haven't even told her this. She doesn't know anything about this story. I just told her that I got freaky with her. So what happened was Heather's eyes, they got the Asian slant. And her hair went very straight, no waves in it. And I'm a little shy for this part, but it was so much easier that way. And I became so attracted to her. And I imagined being with her in sexy ways. And I've seen Heather enough times naked to, have an idea of what's going on.
So I was using Heather's body as a model and touching her and petting her and having my body on her. My body that I'm so uncomfortable with was loving her body. And I mean this, everything that's going to come out of my mouth is 100% a compliment, even though it might not sound that way. I don't know how it's going to come out. But Heather is not stick thin. She is not my version of perfection, perfect porn star. She's not. She's not a tall, leggy Victoria's Secret model. She's pretty tall, though. But Heather's a thick girl. You've seen pictures of her. I don't mean she's like overweight or fat or chubby or chunky or anything, but she's thick. She's got thick thighs. She's got a nice ass. She's very lean, but she's thick. And so I was appreciating that, and I was seeing how much I still loved her and how attracted I still was to her in those moments of passion. And it didn't matter that she did not meet my expectations of, quote, perfect beauty. And in exchange, what happened was an understanding that that feeling was reciprocated, and Himiko just loved on me so much, petted me, and really filled me with an energy of, I accept you, I love you as you are, you do the same for yourself. And I'm so grateful for that. I have not been able to stop thinking about how much that changed me. And at the same time, all of this stuff's happening, all this, interchange, something else is going on too, to help with that. And this is what I spoke about in my long letter too. This is the biggest part that I wanted people to learn, was that I mentioned in my other video that, I'm to connect with my twin. And I'm very excited about that. Of course I am. I've been denied love and affection for so many years, and it's right around the corner. And I have a date that Eric gave me on the e-board, and I was sticking to that, and I felt myself getting angry. And I was like, if that shit doesn't fucking happen when they said it was, I'm going to lose all faith in the journey, and I give up, because I'm not going to have them come and tell me later on, well, you fucked up again, or well, whatever it was. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to be just so done with it, because it's happened before where I believed that something was going to come my way and it didn't. But I understand why things, well, I don't understand all the way why those things didn't come to fruition. But this was one time that I was putting my foot down and I was like, you're not going to pull that shit on me again. And by you, I mean me, because I don't blame anybody for anything that happens in my life. It is between me and my higher self. And we have to work together to get the things we want. And I wasn't holding up my end of the bargain. And this is where I was lacking. That's funny, I use that word. Because me being pissed off and me saying like, I need my fucking prize, I did my work, give me my fucking prize or I give up. That was putting me in a place of lack. Opening my hand and waiting for my prize to come to me. So you know what I was doing, right? I was creating a place of lack, waiting for good things to come to me. So I would stay in a place of lack, waiting for things to come to me, because that was the vibration I was in. So Fairy Girl said to me, I'm so grateful, because number one, she heard me. She knew I was serious. I love that right there. Just knowing that I was heard, because even though I know better, still I'm a human being and I can see how my prayers are not being answered. God's not listening or whatever, There truly is always a reason. And this was the reason for me, was being in that vibration. And so she dropped that hint. She said, I don't want you to give up. And this is something you were to learn on your own, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And I took that information and I ran with it. I tried to find the good in everything. And in my letter, I mentioned about how instead of being all pissed off that I got ripped off at this, it was kind of a dumpy hotel. I got stuck in Washington with my kids. It was okay. It was clean, but it was just yucky. It wasn't fun at all, and it was overpriced. And I could have bitched and complained about it. But instead, it wasn't even that hard, but I did have to make the effort to retrain my brain to find all the good in it. Oh, thank God that I was able to get all my kids shuttled over to this hotel at this late hour. Thank God there's enough room in the beds for us. Well, that's not a big deal, but that they're comfy, whatever it was. I had a whole list of reasons why this was a great thing. And I've been doing that over and over. And I'm so aware of it that I'm not even really letting myself get complainy and bitching about it and then pulling out the silver lining. I'm skipping all the complaining and I'm going straight to the good shit. And my motivation is truly because I want to make sure I'm on that same track of meeting the 20 at the previously scheduled time. This fairy girl implied that, my attitude of, waiting is going to keep me waiting. So right now I'm at a place where I don't know if I've got back on that track or not. But one thing's for sure, if I don't go see him when I think I am, I will be disappointed. That's the truth. But I won't give up, and I'll understand why, and I'll know that that opportunity will be around another corner. So I won't have lost anything. I won't have fucked anything up. I am to retrain my brain to understand and make peace with the fact that I just chose a different path. And different isn't good or bad, it's just different. So she wants to emphasize that too. And I want you guys to learn that too. Don't regret. Don't feel like you fucked up. Don't feel like you sabotaged. Because anytime you have those thoughts, that's exactly what you are doing. You're fucking up and you're sabotaging. If you tell yourself and truly believe it, well, I'm choosing a different path. For whatever reason, I didn't learn that way, so now I'm going to go this way. And I understand we get mad. We are humans. But do your best to not stay in that place and perpetuate it. Find a way to climb out of the negativity and stay positive. Let's see. So what else did I want to say about that? I know there was more. See, I'm going to have to do a reclap thing on my clapperboard. I think that's all I really wanted to say. Oh, no, that's not true. I have a little bit more to say. And that is when I did my video, I think it was the last one, the one before that, I can't remember. But anyway, the one about my personal twin story. It was long. It was an hour long, and I didn't have room for this last bit. And I don't think anybody would care. This one's truly for me. I feel like I need to have this on tape and published. It makes it real to me, for me. Again, I've mentioned before that this is like my shadow work. So these are the things that, monkey gears, monkey brain goes on. And then when I get it out, I can rest again. So you guys are like my therapy session right now. But in that twin video, I spent a lot of time complaining about Michael, about how he broke my heart, how I couldn't learn off him because he was a wall and he never communicated with me, and on and on and on. And all that is true, but a couple other things were part of that I didn't get to say, and I'll try to make it quick. One of them is that I really have forgotten a lot of that stuff. It was such a crazy, chaotic time in my mind mentally that I can't remember everything. And I saw this video the other day of it was cute, and I shared it on my wall. It was about dogs giving hugs. My dog gives a hug. She puts her arms around you and hugs. And so all these dogs were hugging their people. And I can't tell you how many hugs, cyber hugs, Michael sent me when I was in the depths of despair. And it was just an asterisk, the word hug, and an asterisk. And that was just to lend support and love, because what could he do? He couldn't solve my problems. We weren't like in an actual relationship with actual things to work out. So he would support me by sending me love, and he really is a quiet man. He doesn't have much to say, so that's just how he communicates. And there was a bit of a friendship at the beginning, there really was. And so I don't mean to make him out to be some unkind asshole, because he really wasn't. He was there for me, but after a few years, you get tired of shit, you move on. And not only that, him pulling away from me is what helped me push myself forward too. So the silence did serve a purpose. The pulling away did serve a purpose. There was no need to feed it and perpetuate my nonsense. So I don't want people to, or him. He hasn't watched any of these videos. As far as I know, I'd be so curious as to what some girl is saying about me. But I don't think he even knows I'm talking about him. But Michael, if you ever do watch this one day, thank you for being my friend. And thank you for being my asshole. Thank you for helping me get to this place today. Appreciate that. And then as far as the other twin goes, I didn't say too much about him either. He did not have the detrimental effects that the other one did, but I didn't give him enough props about how much my heart opened up to him, how much I care about him. I feel like it didn't have the depth of the first one, but I think I'm equating depth with insanity because I went so completely insane the first time around that nothing could touch it. But I don't know. Fairy Girl is the one that pointed out to me. She says, you didn't even realize how attached you were to him. And I thought about that. I'm like, you're right. I fell in love with him in an instant. And it was like the same week that I saw him and Michael in the same week. And it was literally like Fairy Girl unplugged me from one boy and plugged me into another. Because all of the things I did with Michael, journaling to him, writing him, obsessing about him, not counting sheep about him, all that stuff just flipped from one to another in an instant. In an instant. It was so weird. So I really did have true deep feelings for him. And as I recap, Michael is part of my Minerva umbrella. He's one of M6. He's one of, me, Heather, Eric, Michael, and the other two. He's one of those. And the other one is actually split off of Fairy Girl. I love that. That's so sweet to me. I know I'm repeating myself, but I like that part. I'm going to share that part of the story again. So I just wanted to give love to both my twinnies. That's so weird too, like declaring love to both men who aren't even going to watch this show, maybe not for years to come. So weird. But I didn't feel comfortable with just talking the shit without talking the love too. So on that note, and I do have a strange life. I know I'm going to have so many, lovers, mostly men. Maybe I'll get that girl. I don't know. But I'm told that all these men will be just fine with this path I have if they can all be in the same room together and be like, what's up? So that's one of the reasons why I feel comfortable talking about them both in one shot. That's so strange. But I want all of the men, all of the lovers to remember that I'm a goddess. And you got to get your shit together so that you can be worthy of me. So get ready, boys. Go take care of yourself so you can come take care of me for a while. I am a goddess. One more thing on that is that I'm hoping I'm coming off. I'm going to do my best because it's really hard. It's a bit of a challenge to own your shit, own your greatness, and still be humble. And Heather's way of staying humble is to self-deprecate. I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I'm not that big of a deal. I'm not going to say that. I am that good. I am that big of a deal. I am that special, and I am that worthy. But I'm still humble, and I still have much gratitude. I'm not better than anyone. But I worked hard to be who I am and to become worthy of the love coming my way. And so one last bit that I learned about creating the life you want, the experiences you want, is to remind you to stay out of that place of lack. Fairy Girl said, quit feeling like you're owed something. Yes, you did finish your work. Yes, you have become worthy of love. But the gift from that journey is the journey itself. The gift is what you've already accomplished. And I've come so fucking far that for me to bitch about what I don't have yet is just stupid. It's stupid. I have so much to be grateful for. I really do. So I'm going to stay humble and I'm going to own my greatness. All right, you guys. I want all of you to find your inner goddess and gods. I want you to own it. Stay humble, but own your greatness, okay? All right, thank you again for listening to my story. I hope I got it all in there. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.
I'm back. That was a great place to end that video. But I reviewed it and I forgot some stuff. So let me lay it on you now. I talked about, how the things that Himiko said about the rare beauty and how that helped plant a seed to learn to accept myself as I am And then I started to say, and I got something else going on. Well, I told part of the something else going on, but I didn't finish that, and it matters. Because I have chosen to not live in a place of lack, because I have chosen to consciously be appreciative and grateful for the things that I have and how far I've come, that constant recognition of the good in my life did something to me. And it's so interesting the way all of the different things are tied together. Because what happened, and this was happening before my Himiko experience, is that, and I wrote about this in that same, sexy letter. Oh, I got something to say about that too, that sexy story time. Is that when I was at my dad's, and I was with my kids, and when I hang out with Sarah, we will go have a salad, or I'll get an omelet, and instead of getting toast, I'll ask for a fruit salad. I'm not really supposed to have any carbs, but fruit is certainly better than toast. But when I'm with my kids, I was like, it's such a challenge to eat healthy. I'm not going to go and have us all have a $10 salad. I'm just not doing that. We're going to the dollar menu. We're getting rodeo burgers. And so I had made a conscious decision to go ahead and just junk out with them. We went on road trips, and they're like older now. I can't bribe them with a Hot Wheel. So the best thing that works is candy. I never was the mom that would buy their kids candy. All of a sudden, I'm like, you guys, I got candy, and they love me. It works. So I said, come on, we're going to drive up to a volcano. Let's get some candy for our road trip. And I love candy. I quit eating candy, but I ate some damn candy. And usually when I go on these trips with my family, and they get hungry, we're like on these 3-hour stretches of nothing. We're hitting up the first fast food restaurant we see, but there I am sitting watching them eat their fries, and there I am with my gross salad. I didn't want to do that this time. I really didn't. So I decided, or worse, I do eat their crap, and then I hate myself afterwards. I absolutely would hate myself and beat myself up and feel so guilty for having eaten, bread. Fucking piece of bread would destroy my whole self-image. I'd hate myself. Nonsense. So I decided to go ahead and just eat whatever, and when I came back home, I could get back on track. It's not that hard. If you decide to do it, then you do it. And it takes me 3 to 5 days to get back into ketosis. Well, I decided to go ahead. It was worth it. It was worth those 3 to 5 days of getting back into ketosis while I was out, eating cheeseburgers and ice cream with my kids. Pizza. I had tacos, candy, even ate a Pop-Tart. It was awesome. But you know what was the best part? Was that I was guilt-free. I didn't self-loathe. And I believe that my self-talk and my change in perspective made all the difference in the world, because I had been spending the past year getting pissed off and beating myself up because I can't lose that last 10 pounds. I'm actually 10 pounds beyond my original goal of weight loss. I wanted to lose 30 pounds. I've lost 40 pounds. I can't get to that 50-pound mark. At least I haven't been able to yet. So I've spent the last year beating myself up and being, regretful of things. So with Fairy Girl's, instruction on how to quit living in a place of lack, I decided to totally embrace and own. I lost 40 motherfucking pounds, 10 more than my original plan. Go me, go me, go me. And I haven't lost any weight still. In fact, I had a slumber party here last night. I probably gained a couple pounds. But you know what? I don't hate myself. I'm so fine with it. And my self-talk is telling me, you did not fuck up by losing your 10 pounds consecutively with that 40. You're just choosing a different path. So I don't even know what my other path is. Is my path going to be to lose those 10 pounds still? Or is my path to just keep feeling great about myself as I am? I don't even care which one it is, but I'll tell you where I'm at right now. I feel pretty good about myself as I am. And you know what I decided? I'm such a crazy girl. There was this little meme, and I think it was a frog or something, and he's sitting and his guts hanging out, and he is all fat and just looks happy, fat and happy.
And he says something like, I don't know how I managed. I'll sit there and look at myself in the mirror and wonder how I've managed to trick so many people into having sex with me. And I laughed so hard at that. And I'm like, that's what I'll do. I'm just going to trick everyone. And Fairy Girl, a long time ago, kind of complimented me about how I am like a master of illusion. She says, I'm going to make my next studio look really, really big and spacious when it's not. And she kind of also implied that I have a way with making myself look younger and prettier than I really am. And it's true. I got the photo blur. I just, blur out all my wrinkles on the photographs. And these lights really help. Not to mention I got spackle and sparkles on. So I am a master. And I won't say I'm a complete fraud. I'm just, I'm just accentuating the best parts. So with that in mind, I'm like, I feel pretty confident. I am an old girl. Look I got this wrinkle here. I got all these forehead wrinkles. I got wrinkles. I got like Muppet eyes. I got it all. But I'm okay with it. And I feel pretty. I feel, my face is thinned out from all that weight loss. And I don't know. I feel nice in my pictures. I'm like, here from like the boobs up. You don't see that part because I am a master of illusion. Well, I've also figured out clothes. I know which clothes work for me. I know that if I wear something with a tight waist that kind of flares out, you don't see my belly and hips. I know how to do it all. So my solution was then just, wear your clothes. Be pretty in your clothes. Feel good. And when it's time to be naked, just turn off the lights. Just continue with that illusion. And I'm fine with that. I always talk about how I blur my photos. I don't give two shits if everybody knows I'm a fraud. I feel good in my pictures. So that was my way of justifying feeling like I don't have to have pressure to have a certain body for a certain, event. Because those twinnies, man, they're young. They're young and they're pretty. I want to be young and pretty too. I am not. Well, I'm a little bit pretty, but I'm not young, and I'm not that unrealistic idea of what female beauty should be. I am a rare beauty. And I'm totally learning how to own that. I'm so learning how to accept myself as I am. And I 100% equate that with me finding gratitude of what I already have rather than wishing for something I don't yet have. So think about that. Think about all the shit that you can't have yet and you're not there yet. Maybe it's money. Maybe you need all this money for all these things that you want. Well, look at all the things you have already and be grateful that you were able to afford that thing or whatever it is, whatever it is. So, so that's one thing that I totally forgot to include, and it's important. It matters. It connects the two stories, and it's a really good lesson in that, being grateful for what I have somehow translated into me accepting myself for as I am. Isn't that magic? It's fucking magic. I love that shit. And one last thing, maybe by the time this thing gets published, this little bit won't even matter anymore, but my website is a little bit under construction. I have to revamp my intro. I did it on my tablet. My tablet has since died. It is in the it's in the shop, so I'm waiting for that to come back. Otherwise, I have to use my brain and rewrite it again. But in that, so I want to try to be more active on my website. I know I'm not it's just the techie shit. Ooh. But I'll get that updated, and I'm going to change things around. Maybe I'll include that sexy story time so the rest of you can see what all the fuss is about. Okay, so my short little video ended up being a really long one. At least I tacked this on at the end. I think that clapperboard was what kept me from putting at the beginning again. I don't know. All right, you guys, thank you again. Thanks for putting up with all my tack-ons at the end or the beginning. All right, I'm going to see you guys soon at Silver Linings Live, right? It's going to be the event of a lifetime. Don't miss it. Come find your tribe. Thank you. Bye.